Hello, and happy February. For today's video, I'm going to be giving an update on all of my finances for January 2024. As always with these videos, there is a lot to go over. I feel like even more than usual, so we're just going to go ahead and jump right into it. I'm going to start with the financial goal that I set for the month, and I think that was just to save as much as I can. I didn't have a number in mind. I would say I did a pretty good job of saving, and I will share with you exactly how much that was. I also invested quite a bit this month, and just in general, I had a much higher income, which you will see. I can't say that I did an amazing job with my spending. Like I went out of budget in quite a few areas, which you'll see. But because January was such a strong month, probably one of my strongest months ever when it comes to earning income from my business in combination with my full-time job, it ended up working out very nicely. We're now going to hop over to my spreadsheets. Now this one obviously looks a little bit different from February just because this was the month. January is when I filed my LLC and I'll be, operating as an S-Corp now. And all of these changes that come with filing that way didn't really officially happen until like the end of January. So it was just kind of hard I didn't want to change anything about how I had already set up the month. And things are a little bit off. Like everything is accounted for here. But I paid like business taxes because of my first payroll being run in January and things of that sort. And that's not really documented here, but in February it will be. But yeah, all the numbers are logged here, but just not organized that way. But going forward, it will make more sense to do that. But I still have things separated by business income and then on the other side, work income. And y'all know that my goal with all of this is to pay for all of my expenses from my business income, and then everything that I'm earning from work is going towards savings and investing. Now, obviously there is going to be some overlap just because there's money in my account from both of these things from different times. But in the grand scheme of things, that's how I want things to work. And that was definitely a success for January. So let's start with my business income over here on the left-hand side. And this was my gross income. That came to $7,216.08. I think this is the best I've ever done in my life when it comes to business income. So that's super exciting. This is, like I said, gross earnings. And if you're interested in where this comes from, I will have a video up later this weekend giving a breakdown of that. Extra income, that was $174.61. And again, in that same video, I will give a breakdown where all of that came from. And then I did pull some money from my sinking funds, actually quite a bit. That was $2,328, and I will explain where that comes in here. So let's go through my spending. Taxes sinking fund, this is what I was going to be setting aside for tax purposes from my business. I budgeted $800. I ended up setting aside $500. Now this is not enough because obviously my income was quite high, but because of everything, like I had paid some taxes on the payroll, and this was I just set aside some money, Also, shout out to Anita, who has been helping me a ton. We've been exchanging emails back and forth, but we've been talking about like me filing it as an S-Corp and that sort of thing. And I have learned quite a bit from her. And she did mention that for like the first year that you're filing this way, like the IRS allows for mistakes to happen, So obviously I want things to be as clean as possible and as correct as possible. But I think January is kind of like just the testing period, and then going forward I should be good. But even just for the whole year, I'm not 100% as far as my income, my taxes, all the stuff that I've set up. So $500 is set aside in my taxes sinking fund, but I also paid some already through payroll. Donate, I budgeted $100. I did donate $100. House/utilities budget there was $1,117.50. That ended up being close, $1,118. You'll see here that renter's insurance is added on. I did not budget for this, but I added it in because somebody called this out. I believe it was Eddie. So shout out to Eddie because I had talked about my spending. I gave my spending breakdown for 2023 and he was like, why wouldn't you keep renter's insurance? Because he mentioned that since the house isn't in my name, I may not be covered if something were to happen. Now, from my understanding, I am on the policy here. And at first when I saw his comment, I was like, yeah, I was almost going to respond like, y'all really think my boyfriend is like this trash person, you know, because he was saying like, oh, if something happens, like he doesn't have to give you any money and blah, blah, blah. That's really not even the case. I was looking into it more, and it was basically like, because my name is not on the house, it could be that there wouldn't be enough money, or I don't know. I had looked it up and I was like, okay, I'll just go ahead and do it. So I bundled it with my auto insurance and paid for a full year for $144.91. I also had no idea that you can have renter's insurance if you're not actually renting. Like, I don't have a lease. It's just I pay my portion to my boyfriend. It's not like with an apartment where I like have a proven lease and signed a contract, all that sort of thing. I had no clue that you could get renter's insurance without that, and you can. So now I have some decent coverage in case anything happens, and it's not that expensive, so that's fine, even if it's like double coverage. So again, thanks Eddie for calling that out. Household, I budgeted $100, and this was much higher, $2,364.32, and this is where the $2,328 came from for my sinking funds, because my boyfriend and I ended up ordering a couch, and I actually literally, like an hour ago, I got a notification that it's finally shipping, because we ordered this like a month ago. Like, it's been 4 weeks since we ordered this, and they said it would take a while. This was from Lovesac. And we did like a custom build, kind of, but it was in a fabric that they already have. But then I emailed them and they were like back ordered or something. So finally that's shipping. So we have been actually without a couch for about a month now because we sold our other one. But that's really exciting. So that's what is counted here. There's something else listed here that I purchased for almost $26. I cannot remember what that is though. Oh, detergent. That was detergent. And then the final thing, I spent about $10 on a new French press, because yesterday I broke my French press, which is how I make my coffee. So same day I went to go purchase a new one from TJ Maxx. Groceries, I budgeted $400, ended up spending $568.32. Quite a bit over budget here. I don't even know what happened. Anybody else feel like January is always the longest month of the year? Like, it feels so much longer than, like, it's the same days, same amount of days as every other month, but I don't know, it doesn't really give me any excuse here, because it's still, I think we had 5 weekends to, like, I had to go grocery shopping at least 5 times, but I did buy a couple of extra things. So I did pay for 2 tubs of protein. So that right there was over $60. And then I did buy a few bags of coffee. So that was quite a bit. And everything else was for groceries. I don't really know what happened, because I did not feel like I spent this much money, but it just ended up adding up. Food out, on the other hand, I budgeted $75, but I only spent $13.14, and this was at Chipotle. That's the only thing I paid for. I did go out to eat 2 other times, I think. One, well, it was like food and then getting a coffee, but I did not pay for that. Gas for my car, I budgeted $80, ended up spending $65.62. Health and beauty, I budgeted $250. That was $205.19. This is my medication. I did buy lotion and body wash. Actually, I returned the lotion, so that was just body wash. I paid for a medical bill, like a blood test, and then I did get a massage and paid for his tip as well. Dogs, $162.01. That is correct. Business, I budgeted $500, ended up spending $451.03. I give a breakdown of how this was spent as well in my video coming later this weekend. Netflix is $23.48. Gym is $39.99. Personal, I budgeted $250, which is pretty high to begin with. And y'all, I don't know, January was a tough month for me. And I'm not gonna lie, like, there's still times, even as I've developed myself to be this way, like, I feel like I'm so much better with my finances and I don't have a spending problem like I used to. But there are times where if I do feel down or negative, or if something happens in my life, I feel an urge to spend money. Because there are times where I know, like, oh, if I bought that, that will make me happy in this moment. And that's kind of what happened for January. So please don't judge me, because this number is so bad, y'all. It's so bad. $753.77. I am so sorry. I know it's not like people will say, like, it's your money, you can do what you want. But I like to be also an example, and I don't want y'all to see this and be like, oh, she spent money, so I can spend money. I've said this before. So that's why I usually feel this added pressure to like make sure I'm perfect and stay on budget. But I'm not perfect, and there are times when I like to go shopping. So for February, I did set a budget of spending like $150 in personal, but I'm gonna aim to keep it at 0 just because this is enough, you know. And you can see here what I purchased. So books, I bought 3 pairs of shoes, primarily for the gym and for running. I bought some clothes on Hollister. I did buy workout clothes, and then I bought some socks. Yeah, a lot of this was like a couple hundred on books, to be honest, a couple hundred on shoes, and then a couple hundred on clothes. Like that's how that breaks down. So not a great month as far as that goes, but it is what it is. And I don't regret any of the things that I bought. Like genuinely, I don't. I wanted them all. I'm also going to be going through my things this weekend or the next weekend and posting things for sale or getting rid of things, because I do that usually on like an annual basis, and it's coming up on a year of me doing that. Obviously not ideal, but you'll see with like my numbers, everything worked out. But okay, let's continue. Next couple of things are items that I did not budget for, but they came up. So first would be the Chase Sapphire Preferred annual fee. I thought this would come out in December, but that didn't happen, and then I just forgot about it for January, so that was $95. And then fun/entertainment, that was $42.68. My friend teaches yoga/breath work and like meditation. I wanted to see her and I wanted to support her. I put this under fun and entertainment because it's kind of like, it technically was kind of a health expense, but I see it more as like paying for a service. I'm not usually one to pay this much for a class, just because I did want to support her, but to me this is quite pricey when I can just like go to the gym. My preferred workout method is like lifting weights and just cardio, that sort of thing. But yeah, I am happy to support her, and that was just like this one time. Maybe I'll go again in the future, but it's not going to be on a regular basis. And then final thing on this side would be stamps. I know that's super random, but I did buy stamps. That was $13.20, which technically I probably should include as a business item. So I might go change that. So altogether, I did spend over $6,600, but you can see I have quite a bit that was left over. And I am having this roll over now that things are a little bit different and I'm on payroll through my business, but I can still take like distributions and whatnot. So I have payroll set up to come to me from my business, and I have a little bit of not a savings, but just like a cushion in my business checking account, so that in case I don't make enough money in the month, then I'll still have enough for my payroll. But yeah, a lot of this just rolled over into that and ended up working out nicely. All right, now over here, we're going to be looking at how I spent my work income. So first would be what I earned from work, and that was $5,880 gross, and I am a Salesforce consultant as of right now. From my sinking funds, I did pull $9,707.82, so I will talk about where that comes in. And let's go through my expenses. First up would be my 401k. I didn't know what to expect here. I just did like a random calculation before the year started, and I was expecting $1,764 for that, but that ended up being $1,881.60. This is 30% of my income, and if I do that and I stay at the company for the full year, then I would max out my 401k, which is one of my goals. Now for taxes, I was expecting about $1,000. Luckily, that's lower at $899.44, so that's super exciting. And then one thing, I don't think I had this in my budget. I forgot to account for insurance, and that is $117.22. Next are all of my sinking funds. So gift sinking fund, $75, car maintenance, $350, car insurance, $115, beauty sinking fund, I did. So the goal was $3,000 here, to get that to $3,000. So this is where one of the sinking funds comes in, because I already had money in my sabbatical sinking fund, and y'all know that I wanted to disperse that between beauty, travel, business, and my emergency fund. So I put the bulk of it to my beauty sinking fund, and I already had $302.97 there. So I was able to finish this out just by setting aside this amount. Travel sinking fund, nothing there. Emergency fund, nothing there. Business sinking fund, I budgeted $1,500, but ended up putting $2,091.39 to that one. So that's good. Definitely more than I expected to, and off to a good start there. So I should be able to finish this in February and then move on to my next sinking fund. And then final thing over here is my Roth IRA, budgeted $7,000. I did go ahead and put the full $7,000. Y'all already know that I had set aside $7,000 in 2023 so that I could just go ahead and max this out in January. So that's where the other $7,000 comes in from my sinking fund. I'll give you an update on my Roth IRA in just a moment. Yeah, so all of this worked out really well. Obviously, lots of money saved and invested. Like, that's so much money invested. I know some things here, like I paid taxes and insurance and stuff, but the bulk of this, like, let me take this out. What would this look like? $14,000 put to savings and investments. That's crazy. That's all of my spending, so let's go ahead and go to my annual tracker. Okay, first up would be all of my sinking funds, and these are the numbers in my high yield savings account after the interest accrued. So taxes, that was at $503.19. Emergency fund, $12,342.09. Gifts, $691.09. Travel, $4.32. Car/car maintenance, $2,781.05. Car insurance, $233.49. Beauty, $3,013.63. Sabbatical, that one is what I took away from, so that's at $1.05. House down payment, $103.68. Furniture/home, down quite a bit, $866.23. 2025 Roth IRA, which I think I haven't even renamed it. I don't know if I will get to saving for my 2025 Roth IRA, but obviously I took out of that, so $1.72 there. And then business, $2,103.35 for a total of $22,644.89 in cash savings, or in my high yield savings account. Next up would be my investments, starting with my Roth IRA. $32,148.42. This was a big jump, up 29.7% because I did put in $7,000. Also, the market was up. I think we hit like an all-time high in the S&P 500 and total stock market. I don't know. I could be wrong. This is really cool because my Roth IRA is now over 30,000, which is, it just feels like a lot of money. It was so exciting. Like I said before, it was so exciting for me to just be able to completely max it out right in the first couple of days of the year. And I hope moving forward I can do that. But even if not, like, my goal for the rest of my life is to max out my Roth IRA every year. Like, that is my top priority investment. So super excited on that one. 401k, that is at $24,347.30, up 14.5%. Again, because the market is up, but also because I invested like, over $2,000 with what I put in plus the company match. So it's a lot of money. In One Invest, this is one of my brokerage accounts, all invested in VTI. That was up 1.1% compared to last month at $7,150.83. Then my Vanguard brokerage account, this is all in VGT. That was up 2.1% at $1,218.14. I did not add anything there. And then finally, Coinbase. That one was down 1.4% at $589.85. That one I don't touch. I just let it chill there. Altogether, I have $65,454.54 invested, which is crazy. I think I just hit 50K like in December or in November. So to see it up by so much it's just exciting. I don't have a better term for it. It's just exciting. And then y'all already know my favorite number to look at would be my net worth. Couple of things to call out here. So everything that you're seeing up here is listed down here aside from my tax savings, so I don't count that. I also add in the value that's in my checking accounts, so that was $3,684.92. I don't count the value of my car or any of my belongings just because I prefer not to, but if you want to, feel free to do that, but I do not. So yeah, y'all can already see $91,281.16 is my net worth. I have no debt, nothing working against me. It's just crazy to me. 91,000. I told y'all I'm gonna get to 100K in Q1. I'm hoping it'll be February and not March, but definitely in March it's happening. I'm gonna hit 100K and I am so excited about it. Like even just seeing 91, it's so cool. Nothing exciting to look at with this tracker for 2020. Oop, this is wrong. This is gotta change that to 2024. But I do have, let me expand everything. I do have this tracker here. All of 2021, all of 2022, all of 2023, and now we're going into 2024. So really cool to see the progress and, you know, going from negative to 0 to almost 100K. Love seeing this. Only other number here would be my Vantage score, my credit score. That is at 807. I don't think it changed from, if it did change, it went up from last month. All right, we're almost done, y'all. Bear with me. One more thing to go over would be the goals that I have for 2024. If you're interested in this template, I do have it available for purchase on my Etsy shop, which is always linked down below. So first goal, max my 401k. We can put a total of $23,000 for 2024. In January, I put $1,881.60, not including the company match. Next goal, reach a net worth of $150,000 or more. I added $7,427.91 to my net worth, which is a pretty decent jump. So I am 60.85% of the way there to the $150,000 goal. Next goal is to make at least $100,000 in gross income. For January, that came to $13,270.69, which, like I said, this is literally one of the best months I've ever had. Definitely off to a good start. I don't think this will continue. Like I'll have more months that are strong, but I don't think it'll be quite this strong. Definitely not over the next few months. So we'll see though, but this is a good start. Next goal is to make at least $50,000 from my business. Again, started off strong, so $7,216.08 there. So we are 14.43% of the way. I want my emergency fund to get to $18,000. I already have a bit over $12,000. Added a little from just the interest that accrued, so that was an addition of $54.35. My travel fund, I want $5,000 there. All that was added to that was the 2 cents of interest, so no progress really. Business sinking fund, I want $4,000. Added $2,103.31. That does include the interest. So 52.8% of the way through that one. And like I said, I should be finishing that in February. Beauty sinking fund goal here is $3,000. Ended up adding $2,710.66. This does include the interest that accrued, so more than 100% of the way there. I'm just going to leave that with what it has in it and let the interest grow on there. And as I do any beauty purchases or spend in that category, I will pull from it as I need to. And then finally, spend less than $50,000, and this is excluding my savings, excluding my investments, and my business expenses. So for January, it was a bit higher, $5,709.63, but I think if looking at last year, I did really well. So I think it'll be about the same for this year, and I can stay under $50,000 of spending. So yeah, that's everything for my goals, and that is the last spreadsheet I need to share with y'all. Okay, that was a lot to get through. If y'all are still here, thank you so much. Thank you for being a part of my journey in general and allowing for all of this to be possible, because yeah, a lot of, making that much from my business, from YouTube, from sponsorships and affiliate sales, all that stuff, it really makes a world of a difference. So thank you genuinely so much for being here. Let me know if y'all have any questions. Please feel free to comment down below how the month of January went for you. Did you spend what you expected to spend? Did you go over budget? Did you hit your goals? All the things, please share with us down below. Otherwise, please give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. It really supports my channel, and I'll see you in my next one.